Good morning, Devils fans. Starting off the season with a dub, a 4-3 victory over the Detroit Red Wings. Was definitely not the prettiest or most dominant of games from us, as I think some might have been expecting. Instead, we were a bit slow out the gate. The first period was certainly not our best showing. Detroit definitely took it to us a little bit there, but thankfully, Vitek stood on his head, not just in the first, but multiple times throughout the game, really kept us in it. The boys recognizing that as well in their post game interviews. And obviously, the crowd giving him the love that he deserved with the multiple time VTech chants. The crowd was electric. The outside crowd is probably one of the craziest ones I've seen for a home opener ever. Had the same reaction from a few buddies that I met up with that have been to multiple of these. The table setup outside of Reds and American Whiskey, basically just letting the crowds overflow out into the streets and out front of the Rock, just creates a great atmosphere before a game, especially with the red carpet event and everything going on beforehand. It was electric for hours leading up. You can tell with the crowd, everyone was hyped and ready to go for this one. And while it wasn't the best start, like I said, the boys brought it around by the end. Jack Hughes already starting his MVP campaign. Got an MVP chant already in game one of the season. Started off with his patented below the red line, off the back of the goalie's head into the net goal. He was asked about it, and we've seen him do it multiple times before. It's just one of the shots in his toolkit. He's tried and missed a few times. He's tried and made it a few times. Goalies just need to know to expect that, but it is really hard to defend because if you overcommit to that, Jack is going to beat you on a pass or even wrap it around completely. So great to see from him there. Also was our second goal, with just a beautiful drive to the center of the ice and basically no look shot, catching the goalie going the other way. But before I dive too much more into the goals, I just want to say how great it was to be back. Me and my buddy took a lap around both the 100 level and main concourse, just checking it out. I will say, if you are looking to nab some of the chicken fingers and fries, maybe go into the 100s first, because from what I saw, they were being sold for $15 up there versus $20 down in the main concourse. That is what I ended up buying. Uh, Also, split opinion there. For those that care about the food, chicken tenders I got were fantastic, super hot, fresh, like breaking apart, absolutely amazing. But the group that got them just before us maybe got the last of a batch because theirs looked fairly overcooked and burnt and dry. So do with that what you may. But yeah, otherwise they opened up a lot more bars. There's a lot more places to buy alcohol this time around. They closed out the one kids section. That's now the Devil's Den. Where the Devil's Den is now selling alcohol, kind of like a loop around open bar. But yeah, it was great. Atmosphere was fantastic. Even when we went down 1-0, the crowd didn't get too over the top, although I had a few people around me saying, "Oh, when we start the Fire Lindy chants," mostly tongue in cheek. Although as the game went on, they had some sketch opinions, so maybe they weren't being so tongue in cheek. But Jack, I think, just we brought the crowd to life as he is one to do. All star, superstar, electric player that he is. Basically, put the team on his back to bring us not just back into the game, but taking the lead. And then, um, you know, I I actually don't think it was all that bad. The first goal we gave up was Brat attempting to clear it, bouncing off a Red Wing, and him basically skating through that, and the puck just dribbling in through VTech's legs. It's not like we got beat clean on a great play. While the first period, absolutely, I really do think the Red Wings took it to us 5-on-5. They outshot us, but none of those were like the most high danger of chances. But we did get two posts, so it could have been worse, but it also wasn't that bad, really. If you purely look at the goals they did score, because we had, I think, more high danger chances, even though we had less shots in the first. And then come the second, obviously, we kind of took over the game. We got our legs under us. And I believe, other than just, that first, not it wasn't a fluke. You're going to get, you drive the net, you create chaos in front of the net. You're going to get goals like that. We're going to get goals like that, and we're going to get more goals like that scored against us. It's an 82 game regular season. So you just got to live with those. As long as you're not giving up quality chances over and over, you live with giving up goals like that. Because when you have star-studded power like we do, especially when you have a guy like Jack who's going to score 164 goals this season, You can work your way out of those type of goals against, even when it's the first one given up in a game you haven't played your best, because you have that superstar power to break the ice like we do. Even their other two goals, the true power play goal from DeBrinket's shot. I mean, the guy is a sniper. It's a power play goal. I thought we played it fairly well. It wasn't like a crazy breakdown. Detroit just played it well. While we definitely have the better team, their top power play unit isn't the worst. Probably is going to end up more middle of the pack than anything, but it's certainly not the worst out there. And like I said on the podcast, the Brinket goal with us getting the W wouldn't be the worst thing for my fantasy team because I have both Jack and DeBrinket. So it was a pretty great night for me overall. And then even their third goal in the waning minute of the game, it was technically a 6-on-4, but I think the guy was just coming out of the box for them, and they had their goalie pulled. So it was a 5-on-4, really, as far as the on ice impact. But I think technically it'll end up being ruled as a power play 6-on-4 goal. So that was more just a scrum, loose puck play in front of the net. So power play goal, another. We only had four guys on the ice for the third goal against, and then obviously the Brat shot off a shin, pushed into the net, kind of weird goal. They're not the worst to give up. When we have our goals were Jack with a all-star, behind the net basic goal that isn't a fluke. That's just in his repertoire. Him cutting to the middle of the ice with a beautiful shot. He was basically surrounded by three or four Red Wings, and then just beats the goalie clean. Beautiful shot. Obviously, we had the disallowed kicking motion goal. I'm still of the opinion that if you kick a puck into the net, but you are the first one to touch it with your stick while it's in the net afterwards, it should still be a goal. And I would say that even for teams that do it against us, because if you kick the puck to your stick and then deflect it in before it crosses the line, it's a goal. So why would it be the end of the world if you kick it in and then touch it inside the net before any sort of whistle's blown? Or if the other team touches it first, then I'll say no goal. Just to keep it interesting. But yeah, Timo had a disallowed goal. I thought that line, Timo, Nico, Mercer, was so. They did create actually multiple chances, just like Jack Bratt and Toffoli did 5-on-5. But really, Jack did a lot of the heavy lifting on the early goals, and then obviously the Dougie blast is just a patented Dougie type goal. Nothing too. It's just beautiful. Again, a guy that we feed in the middle and just beats a goalie off a great shot. And, the empty netter is an empty netter. We earned that by being the better team and having the lead. Nothing too crazy there either. But for the actual lines, Lindy kind of said this after the game where it really felt like one guy was always disconnected on each line. Now, obviously, Mercer didn't play with Timo and Nico all preseason, but he does have some previous chemistry with Nico from last year. But Mercer really felt somewhat out of sorts. He had a really great A chance, and there was an amazing save by Huso against him on that. But still, just as far as 5v5 dominance that we're used to, we still, I think, controlled play in that facet. Again, other than the one knock-in goal, we only had four guys on the ice for the other two against. But I still feel like we had probably two, even three more gears that we could get to. It's game one of the season. We're going to get there. So the fact that we still don't even have our best game, and you have that star power of Jack being able to carry you through it, that's what you want to see. That's what great teams do, and that's what great teams are. You don't dominate 82 games, even though, winning all 82 is my, totally real prediction. You don't just dominate NHL teams game in, game out all year long. There's going to be bad bounces for and against you. There's going to be plays where your stars are getting shut down. You need some depth guys to come in and score. But when you have multiple absolute snipers and threats like we do basically down the entire lineup, you should be able to work yourself out of most games. That's why I am positive we will obviously be over a 50-win game since we're winning 82, but you take these type of games to learn from, because tonight when we go against Arizona, let's say Jack Brattafoli again. I think Jack dominated on that line. Toffoli was so-so. He had a couple chances. I mean, Brett gave him a beautiful dish for a shot. Another great Huso save. I mean, you're going to run into goalies that stand on their heads sometimes. And even though I think Huso overall had a pretty strong night, had some number of really great saves, Mercer, Toffoli, Nico had a really good one, a good chance that was saved. We still ended up potting 3 against him because we have the star and skill power to do so. So again, you kind of look at trends over a whole season. You don't want to take too much away from a single game. I think the power play units, even though it was the Mercer one, I believe that was on the power play, his chance. Sometimes when I'm at a game, it's hard to. I feel like my observation, my eye test, isn't as good as when I'm watching at home. I don't know quite the explanation. It's just the different angles depending on where you're sitting and all that, and just the flow and other distractions and everything when you're at a game. But still, I think I did a pretty good job watching most of the guys. I know Siegenthaler had a very strong game. Him and Dougie, I thought, were fantastic. Uh, I believe I did criticize them early on in the preseason for not having the best, but they ended strong and then came in here and were really good. I thought Brendan Smith even looked pretty solid, and Luke had multiple great defensive moments as well. Ball didn't, for me, have any super standout, but again, that could just be just where the if he did where he made those plays in relation to where I was sitting, and just I didn't catch it in the moment. But he's gonna work himself in based on how well he played in the preseason. Again, not worried. I'm gonna be home watching this one from the couch today. So I'll obviously be keeping a very keen eye on him. And I really want to see if we stick with the lines. Obviously, we should. It's only been one game. But did Holtz, I thought, actually had a pretty good night. He set up multiple plays. He was set up for multiple. And I really think he was probably deserving of moving back up with Nico and Timo, because he had a couple plays that he set up that if Holla and Palat didn't kind of botch it on him, we probably could have had another goal or two. And Jack even probably should have had a hat trick where he was completely stuffed by Huso as well. So overall, I really think we showed off our firepower and offensive capability in this game, while also showing, hey, even if we're not playing the best like that first period, we have a goalie that can keep us in it, and the ability to work ourselves back out of that. It's kind of how last year went a lot. Did not start very strong in the first, completely skated teams into the dirt in the second period. I really think our style of play is fantastic against the long change, just when you can hem guys in and we get our cycle going. And by cycle, I mean cycling the lines, really, as we're more of a transition team. But and then even into the third, we're gassing teams with our speed and endurance. So I don't know if that's going to be the trend. I know we want the boys to come out with stronger starts, but if we can survive the first and then we just take over in the second and third every game, it's not the worst way to play hockey. You just need a goalie that can keep you in it, and VTech did. And tonight we should find out if Schmid can do it as well. I originally predicted on the pod that our goal differential would be better in the Red Wings game versus the Yotes game. It's going to be kind of hard to do because they're only one by one, but I did predict the number of goals correctly at 4. So for Arizona tonight, I'm going to say 3-2. I'll keep it 3-2, one goal differential, just so I kind of keep myself honest around there. Multi-goal night. I'm going to stay with the guys I had yesterday with Toffoli and Timo, pot one. Timo kind of had it in off the foot. Obviously, it doesn't count, but he was there. He was close. He did lay multiple big hits, I saw, like I predicted he would do. I knew he was ready to go there. Otherwise, I don't think it was an overly physical game on either end. I know there was a couple big ones. Jack kind of got ran into the boards one time. I know Larkin was complaining to the refs multiple times, just chirping away. He did not like calls for or against, it looked like, but he can kind of get over it. And yeah, I mean, it was fantastic being there, everyone. The craziest part was as I was walking into the concourse, I think it was around like 5, so like well early, before I even stepped foot in the square, literally somebody flags me down and goes, "Hey, I recognize you from the podcast. I watch you every morning." So absolute shout out to that guy. If you're watching right now, if you made it this far into the video, absolute respect. Love is love. Keep the support coming. And I would love to meet up with more of you when I do make another game. Probably going to be a while though, because it was about a 2-hour drive home. I had road closures all around my house. Ended up going on a 20-minute detour down a dirt road through a military base down here, as I do live by Fort Dix. And so that was not the most fun. Got home shortly after 12:30 at night. Was hopped up on caffeine just to make that 2-hour drive home. So it took a bit to fall back asleep. Hence, this video coming out a bit later than I normally would like for post-game reactions. So feeling good though, doing well. And yeah, obviously, very excited, very happy with how the game went. I think that's it. Kind of just rambling here, enjoying the moment. Tonight should be another great one. Trying to decide if I want to do a live reaction or not to that one, but obviously we'll have the morning reaction as always. And wow, I don't think I have too much else. It was a great game. Absolutely electric in the building. Devils fans showing up, showing out. Let's keep that energy going all season long. Show respect, show love to the boys. We know they feed off of it. Uh, Freaking last thing I wanted to mention. Of course, Lindy stole my joke of Jack. Absolutely, and I'm sure most people were thinking this at the time, but Jack absolutely lost his Lady Bing nom already. 1 game into the season, I was making fun of him in a fantasy league I'm in that does Pims. I was like, well, I love taking Jack way earlier than I probably should, but not in a league like this. I guess he took offense to that as well. But yeah, the one penalty he had, Jack admitted was what, yeah, he shouldn't take that. But the retaliation slash that he got called on was chintzy, I believe is how Jack put it. I agree. It was a terrible call. I don't know what the refs were thinking. I really think some refs have issues with Jack because he is known to let his thoughts be known to them if he does not agree with a call or a missed call most times where he feels like he was interfered with. He will let a ref know when he disagrees when a no call is there. So I don't know if this is them sending him a message like, hey, we're watching you this season because he definitely tripped them up a bit in the Ranger series and through the regular season as well last year. But yeah, I don't like refs taking the game into their own hands like that. One call was fine, sure, but the other one definitely was just a brutal call on the refs. But yeah, Jack MVP, fantastic. If anybody has the link to the Emily Kaplan post-game interview, please hit me up with that because they did not throw the audio in the rink, and I always love listening to those, and especially when it's Jack because he either is the worst, which is the best, or he's the best, which is the best. So I love Jack's interviews no matter what mood he is in as far as answering questions go. Yeah, we got another game tonight against Arizona. Obviously, we all are expecting to win this one as well because it is Arizona, but they're much improved. They are actually, I think, fairly legit. They're going to catch a lot of teams by surprise. They're still going to be missing the playoffs, don't get it wrong, but they're improved. They're going to be better, and they are not going to ever give in. I think they're actually one of our harder matchups last year, too, and I think they're better this year. So, going to be keeping eyes out on the boys. Like I said, watching from the couch today, so hopefully have a bit more insight and nuance into some plays. But I had both Jack goals scored basically right in front of me as I was lower bowl, right on that side. And, man, it is beautiful to see him in person do his thing. So that's going to do it for today, guys. Already rambling at this point, like I said. So I'll see you tomorrow morning, as always, and forever. Let's go, Devils, baby. Woo!